This is what putting together a business plan can feel like sometimes. But this is all you really need. You've probably heard that you need a business plan to set your business up for success. And that is true. You do need a plan to grow your business. But a lot of that advice makes crafting your business plan feel like a dissertation, and it does not need to be that overwhelming. In fact, my first tech startup, we had a business plan this thick. It still failed. My current online education business, which grew to over $1 million in its first year, started with just a one-sentence business plan. Because it's not the length of your plan that matters. In fact, the less time you spend on this, the better. Because that means you have more time to actually grow your business. All you need is a clear statement of your business's objectives and strategies for achieving them. That's all a business plan technically is, by the way. So, how do you cut through the fluff and get to the good stuff in just one sentence? Let me break it down for you. First, to be in business, you have to have customers, which is why you want to start with answering, who will you sell to? Having your customer be the focal point of your business is known as customer centricity, and it's what the most successful businesses in the world do. For example, in 2016, McDonald's was losing revenue to their competitors, and they knew they had to do something. So they focused on their customer. Through social media, customer surveys, and all their data, they realized what their customers were missing. Turns out, they wanted to be able to buy breakfast food not just in the morning, but throughout the day, and to have a few more healthier food options. So, McDonald's introduced their all-day breakfast menu and added some lower-calorie food choices. And because they listened to their customers, their quarterly earnings exceeded everyone's predictions. In fact, their sales increased by over 5%, which, since McDonald's makes billions of dollars each quarter, was a huge increase. That's why it's so important to know your customer. A common place to start is with who you used to be before you figured out the solution that your business helps people with. For example, back in my career coaching business, my customer was the ambitious professional who'd been working for a few years and wanted to break into management. We've got 3 other elements to cover, and then I'll show you how to bring it all together into one sentence. The second element is the easiest one to miss because we can get too emotional about our own business ideas. But if you get this wrong, it can cost you big. And that is, what will you sell? Because what you're selling has to be something that people actually want. If it's not, nothing else matters. An example that always blows my mind is the startup that raised over $100 million and still failed because it forgot this. Juicero was a startup that wanted to be the Nespresso of juicing. They created these beautiful juicing machines and juicing packs that you would use with their machines so that you could enjoy cold-pressed juice at home. The problem was, not that many people cared about getting cold-pressed juice, and even those who did could just squeeze it themselves for a lot cheaper without the machine. Juicero had everything: the hype, the beautiful products, the money, the famous investors, except the one thing that mattered most: a product that people actually wanted. An easy way to avoid this is to sell an actual solution to a problem that people want solved. For example, if you're selling coaching or a course, you're not actually selling the coaching package or the information in the course. You're really selling the result someone will get, like a new job, weight loss, or more confidence from using that product. This next piece is one that separates businesses that last from those that are just a flash in the pan. Because if the only way for your business to make sales is to sell to new customers, you're going to have a hard time because you're always going to be chasing new customers. But if you have something else that you can sell to the people who've already bought from you, or it makes sense for your customers to keep on paying you for your product, then once you've done the hard work of acquiring one customer, well, you get to keep on reaping the benefits. So what else can you sell to your customers? Using Netflix as an example, you pay them every month for continued access to new shows and movies. Or with Apple, you might buy an iPhone and then decide you want an iPad and then a watch. And by then, Apple has rolled out new versions of all their products and you might be ready to buy those. In a coaching or course business, you can sell ongoing coaching or support or different courses. This last element before we put it all together is the one that people find the hardest to do. But if you don't have it in place, you're going to be constantly worrying when your next client is coming or where they're coming from. If you want to avoid that so you're able to grow your business and have consistent sales, you have to know, how are you going to find new clients? We're not going to talk about obvious ways to do this like social media. Instead, let me give you 3 examples you might not have heard of before. Let's start with Tinder. Tinder's founder would host parties and invite popular sorority members where all they had to do to get in was download the app. Then here's the brilliant part. He would go to the corresponding fraternity and show them all the cute girls they knew who just downloaded the app. So of course, the guys would sign up too. And that's how Tinder went from 5,000 to its first 15,000 users. TaskRabbit started with a very targeted strategy too, but geographically. They focused on a mothers group in Boston, and once they'd cornered that market, those moms started naturally talking about TaskRabbit to other moms in neighboring communities. Etsy did something similar, but online. They reached out to the craft community on 2 large websites, getcrafty.com and craftster.org, so that by the time they launched, a lot of people on those websites were excited to become users. Now we can bring it all together in one sentence. But I do have a warning I'm going to share with you after this sentence, which is I'm going to sell this type of customer this type of product, offer them this other product afterwards, and I'm going to find new customers by this way. Now here's the warning. Business plans have a time and a place, but don't get too caught up in the theory of the business plan. Because you want to know all theory is good for? Let me show you. This, whoa, silly magic trick. Okay, but seriously, action beats theory any day. And if you haven't watched my video on how to find your profitable niche in one sentence, make sure you go ahead and watch that now. I will see you over there.